Feeling lonely? Do you feel like no one is prioritizing you? Does that make you feel humiliated, lonely, or worthless? I'll tell you something quickly, and that is that, for a long time in my work, I've seen people like you coming and going because they didn't know how to adapt or make a place for themselves in a group. I've noticed that they use the bathroom to cry. It can be frustrating. That's why, just as I've helped many fit in within the company, I want to help you too, who are hearing this from somewhere in this world. So grab a pen and paper and pay attention to these very powerful strategies to make room for yourself anywhere. Use this tool and everyone will prioritize you. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. Number 1, stop initiating communication. Human beings have a natural tendency to respond to what pursues us. In other words, when someone is constantly looking for us, we tend to give it less importance. This is because we perceive their attention as something easy to obtain and therefore less valuable. On the other hand, when someone is scarce or selective with their attention, we perceive it as something more desirable and valuable. This is because mystery and intrigue attract us and motivate us to strive for it. The French philosopher Blaise Pascal said, "The price of things is measured by the amount of effort it takes to obtain them." This quote reinforces the idea that things that are harder to obtain are valued more. Don't always initiate communication yourself. Wait for the other person to contact you first. Respond to messages and calls in a timely manner, but not immediately. Allow a little time before responding to create a bit of buzz. You also need to limit the amount of time you spend communicating with the other person. Don't be available all the time, and don't share too much personal information right away. Be confident and independent. Don't depend on the other person for your happiness or validation. Remember, this tip isn't about playing games or manipulating the other person. It's about understanding human psychology and using it to your advantage to build healthier, more fulfilling relationships. It's important to be genuine and authentic in your interactions with others. If you try to be someone you're not, the other person will perceive it and the strategy won't work. Apply this advice sparingly. If you use it excessively, you may run the risk of coming across as disinterested or even arrogant. Number 2, avoid always being available. In the field of psychology, it is suggested that maintaining a certain emotional distance and not always being available can be beneficial for interpersonal relationships and self-esteem. This is because constant availability can lead to the perception that one's time and presence are worthless. On the other hand, philosophy offers us profound reflections on the nature of freedom and personal autonomy. For example, Albert Camus reflected on the freedom of spirit and action, suggesting that true freedom is not something that is given to us, but something that manifests itself in the ability to choose and be available to oneself. In this sense, availability should not be seen as an obligation to others, but as a conscious choice that reflects one's own value and respect for one's personal time. Modern psychology also addresses the importance of setting healthy boundaries. Always being available can be a sign of difficulties in emotional regulation and in setting personal boundaries. According to attachment theory, people with a secure attachment style are capable of flexible and open affective regulation, which allows them to be emotionally available without compromising their well-being. Therefore, availability must be balanced and must not compromise a person's ability to care for themselves and their own needs. In addition, excessive availability can lead to the avoidance of conflictive situations, which in the long term can be detrimental to personal growth and relationships. It is important to develop the ability to deal with and resolve conflicts effectively, rather than avoiding them through constant availability. Philosophical wisdom also reminds us of the importance of knowing oneself and not getting lost in concern for others. Thales of Miletus, for example, warns us that the most difficult task is to know ourselves, while speaking ill of others is the easiest. Number 3, keep some mystery. Mystery is a powerful tool that can be used to capture the attention and keep others engaged. When we reveal everything about ourselves right away, we become predictable and less intriguing. However, when we maintain an air of mystery, we leave room for imagination and curiosity. This makes people want to know more about us and motivates us to decipher our secrets. The Greek philosopher Aristotle said, "Pleasure is in mystery." This quote reinforces the idea that mystery is an essential ingredient for attraction and desire. But how can you become someone more mysterious? Well, first I tell you, Don't share all your personal information right away. Let the other person get to know you gradually. Don't be available all the time. Take time for yourself and your own interests. Don't reveal all your plans and goals. Let the other person be surprised by your accomplishments. Use body language and facial expressions that are a little ambiguous. Don't be too open or too closed. And keep an enigmatic smile. A smile that doesn't give away too much can be very intriguing. The mystery is not about being aloof or dishonest. It's about creating a sense of intrigue and excitement in your interactions with others. Number 4, allow them to invest in you. To gain priority in any area of life, it is essential to allow others to invest in oneself, both emotionally and professionally or personally. This investment is not only about economic aspects, but also about the time, attention, and resources that others are willing to dedicate. Abraham Maslow, a prominent humanistic psychologist, suggested that if the only tool you have is a hammer, you tend to see every problem as a nail. This metaphor highlights the importance of cognitive flexibility and the need to adapt to different situations in order to maximize the investment potential of others in oneself. People tend to value more what they have invested effort in, known as the effort justification effect. Therefore, by allowing others to invest in us, we are increasing their perception of our value. It is crucial then to present yourself as someone with potential, showing skills, talents, and an attitude that invites investment. This can be achieved through effective communication, demonstrating competence, and building meaningful relationships. Seneca also emphasized the importance of being valuable to others as a virtuous way of life. In the modern context, this translates to being someone who brings value to the lives of others, which naturally prompts people to invest in you. René Descartes, on the other hand, with his Cartesian dualism, reminds us of the importance of mind and body, suggesting that we must take care of both aspects to be considered a worthwhile investment. In short, in order to be prioritized and allow others to invest in you, it is critical to develop and communicate one's own value in a way that resonates with the interests and needs of others. Number 5, prioritize your interests. When we prioritize our own interests and needs, we send a clear message to others that we value ourselves. This, in turn, makes others value us more as well. On the other hand, when we constantly sacrifice for others and never put our own needs first, we send a message that we don't value ourselves. This can lead to others taking us for granted and not giving us the priority we deserve. American psychologist Carl Rogers said, "The best way to predict the future is to create it." This quote reinforces the idea that by taking control of our lives and prioritizing our own interests, we can create a future where we are valued and respected. Remember, say no to things that don't interest you or that exhaust you. Don't feel obligated to please everyone. Set healthy boundaries in your relationships, because you will look like a controlled person. Prioritizing your interests isn't about being selfish, it's about taking care of yourself so that you can be the best possible version of yourself. Number 6, don't make them the center of your life. In the search for healthy and balanced interpersonal relationships, it is essential not to make others the central axis of our existence. In doing so, we can fall into emotional dependence, which often leads to a decrease in self-esteem and personal well-being. In the words of Carl Rogers, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself, I can change." This implies that self-knowledge and self-acceptance are crucial for personal development and relationships with others. Thales of Miletus, an ancient philosopher, also reminds us of the importance of this principle with his reflection. "The most difficult thing is to know ourselves. The easiest is to speak ill of others." This quote emphasizes the need for introspection and personal growth before judging or relying on others. In addition, setting healthy boundaries and maintaining a distinct individuality within relationships is essential for emotional well-being. Number 7, it creates the fear of losing yourself. The fear of losing yourself is a powerful human motivation. When we think we might miss out on something valuable, we tend to take steps to avoid it. This is because humans are loss-averse creatures. We value what we have more when we think we might lose it. The existentialist philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre said, "Man is condemned to be free, because once thrown into the world, he is responsible for everything he does." This quote reinforces the idea that we have the power to choose our own actions and our own destiny. How do we make the person afraid of losing you? Well, 1. Don't be available all the time. Take time for yourself and your own interests. 2. Don't share all of your personal information right away. Let the other person get to know you gradually. 3. Be confident and independent. Don't depend on the other person for your happiness or validation. 4. Flirt a little with other people. This can make the other person jealous and value you more. And 5. Remind the other person what they might lose if you leave. Talk about your positive qualities and all the good things you bring to their life. Remember, using the fear of missing out isn't about manipulating or controlling the other person. It's about creating a sense of urgency and motivating her to take action to keep you in her life. It's important to be genuine and authentic in your interactions. If you try to be someone you're not, the other person will perceive it and the strategy won't work. Apply this advice sparingly. If you overuse it, you may run the risk of appearing unsafe or needy. Number 8. Create your own happiness. Happiness can be cultivated through practices such as gratitude, mindfulness, and fostering meaningful social connections. For example, keeping a gratitude journal can help you focus on the positive aspects of your life, while practicing mindfulness allows you to live in the present moment more fully and mindfully. In addition, establishing and maintaining strong interpersonal relationships contributes to a sense of well-being and satisfaction. Philosophers such as Aristotle have reflected on happiness, considering it the ultimate end of human existence, achievable through virtue and contemplation. In the words of Aristotle, happiness consists in wisely uniting virtue, contemplation, and external goods. On the other hand, psychologists such as Carl Rogers have emphasized the importance of self-acceptance as a preliminary step for change and personal improvement, highlighting that the curious paradox is that when I accept myself, I can change. These perspectives teach us that happiness is not a passive state, but an active result of our actions and attitudes. It is important to remember that happiness is a dynamic process and that each individual has the power to influence their own life experience. By integrating these practices and reflections into your daily life, you can begin to build a strong foundation for your personal happiness and consequently be a priority on your own journey to wellness. In addition, by prioritizing your happiness, you will look more attractive, not because of the independence of your actions, but also because they will see you as a role model who is capable of obtaining happiness by their own means. Number 9. Show generosity. Generosity manifests itself when we share our resources, whether material or immaterial, with those around us. This noble action not only provides us with deep personal satisfaction and a greater sense of happiness, but also makes us more attractive in the eyes of others. Seneca, the famous philosopher, wisely expressed that true poverty does not lie in the scarcity of possessions, but in the excess of desire. Selflessly giving, offering what we possess, and extending a hand to those in need are the pillars of generosity. This altruistic act not only enriches those who receive, but also strengthens the emotional well-being of the giver, raising their self-esteem, confidence, gratitude, and joy. Generosity draws people to you, fostering friendship and love as it reflects a spirit of kindness, selflessness, empathy, and solidarity. People who practice generosity tend to enjoy a wider network of friendships and deeper, more rewarding emotional relationships. This is due to their ability to give and receive, to listen and understand, and to provide support and collaboration. Generosity transcends the mere donation of material goods. It also involves sharing our time, attention, love, advice, and recognition, all of which can have a significant impact on the lives of others. Being generous is, at its core, an expression of love and respect for others, and a means of forging strong and lasting bonds. Marcus Aurelius, the eminent Roman emperor, considered generosity as a virtue based on reason, justice, and the common interest. In his reflections, embodied in the Meditations, he maintained that generosity is a way of life in harmony with nature and with our fellow human beings, based on the principle of promoting good and avoiding harm. Number 10. You're willing to walk away. In the game of life and human interactions, the willingness to walk away can be a powerful psychological tool. This tactic, known as the scarcity principle, suggests that people tend to value more what they perceive as limited or difficult to obtain. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once said, Absence diminishes mediocre passions and increases great ones, as the wind blows out candles and stokes fires. But I don't want us to set up this strategy as a form of scarcity and play with its psychology, but as a form of human revelation, let's say, an epiphany. Do we need to be this person's priority? What do we gain? What do we want to obtain? Are we not capable of giving ourselves what we are looking for from that person? In terms of prioritization, showing a willingness to withdraw can indicate that one values their time and presence, which in turn may lead others to value them more. But do we really need to make ourselves beg? With these strategies, I also seek to make you an independent person without needing the attention of other people to find happiness. You only need yourself for that. So this strategy is a call to mark withdrawal without any attachment or mourning, and it is for your sake, so as not to appear desperate, to give yourself your place, so as not to waste your energy applying these strategies to other people, that you can use that same desire to seek your own happiness without depending on someone else. The key is to find the balance between showing independence and maintaining meaningful connections with others, not in going out of our way to get noticed by everyone. We are not gold coins to be liked by everyone. Be yourself and grow daily as a person. That's enough. Remember that the best way to be a priority for others is to be a priority for yourself. Take care of your physical and mental health, cultivate your passions and goals, and surround yourself with positive and valuable people. When you love yourself, you are more attractive to others and more able to create healthy, meaningful relationships. Additionally, I recommend you to be a good listener. People appreciate those who listen to them with attention and understanding. Be a good conversationalist. Ask interesting questions, share personal experiences, and listen carefully to others' answers. Also be loyal, reliable, and understanding. And for your partner, be a good lover. That is, be loving, attentive, and respectful. By following these recommendations, you'll be able to cultivate deeper, more meaningful relationships with others and increase your chances of being a priority in their lives. For more tips like this, follow us on this channel so the Stoic family will continue to grow and we will form a better world with your help. Turn on the notification bell to keep you in the know when I upload more videos. Well, that's all for today. I say goodbye.